Open. Is it? Are we live? Are we live? Oh, we're live. We're live. Yes.
I'm trying to finish my breakfast.
Uh-oh. Hey, Jen, I'm going to hit live. Finish your breakfast. Good morning. Oh, man, we got 9 people on the LinkedIn. Good morning, people. Buddy Brinley telling us good morning. Oh, man, yeah, it's going down now. We got Mr. Steve Martin, the chief marketeer. What's going on, Steve? Oh, my goodness. I'm a little off today, Jennifer. Can you tell?
You're dragging a little bit.
I was out dancing till 1 a.m, like way past my bedtime. But it was awesome. I got some good exercise in. Jim, what's up, Jim? I hope your wife is watching with you, making sure that you take and apply the things that we discuss here.
Yes.
Miss Jamie, Party Animal Knox. How are you, Jamie?
No, Jamie DJ. She's like a DJ, like on the side.
DJ?
Plus roller derby, like
roller derby DJ, superstar. I bet she'll wear a cape to Congress.
It could be.
She's not scared.
I don't know. There's many people in this tribe that are scared of much.
Oh, look, our buddy, Mr. Philip Sellers.
Good morning.
Philip, how you doing, my man? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be, I think the last time we got to interact with Philip, we were doing the 5S in relationships.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Okay.
And so today we're doing a reflection. Is that what we're doing?
Yes. Which opens up a whole can of worms on everything we've been talking about.
Mr. James Guntor or Gable. What's going on, James? How you doing? The uncommon communicator. Oh, so speaking of that. Oh, David. We got to get David up here. So David Hernandez, what's going on, my man? Y'all need to keep an eye out because David is working on a podcast. Mm-hmm. And it's coming out soon,
yep.
Super soon. I'm tattletelling on you, David, just so you can, like, all your people now can harass you to put that thing out into the world. We need your voice out there, man.
Yes.
Who's that? LinkedIn user from Turkey. Global, baby. How you doing, LinkedIn user? Oh, well, I might be able to see that on my
Amy Campbell. I see Amy Campbell. So Amy Campbell, get with LinkedIn user. They need some help. LinkedIn user, Amy will let you know exactly what you need to do in your settings so that your name comes through.
Yes.
Amy's like on top of that stuff.
Oh, that's my wand.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, what's going on, my wand? All right, we got them all.
Ooh,
Amy with
the flow in.
Wednesday with Will. I got to catch him this week, the very end, because I'm still like slacking on making sure my calendar's free and open. So, Will, I'll do better, I promise. But beautiful conversation y'all had the other day. It counts, Jennifer. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. It counts. Jeez. Finally, somebody understands me. Miss Dana Pearson. Good morning, Dana. What'd she say? What is it? What a morning, just gorgeous. Good morning, tribe. What up, tribe? What's the name of the podcast? So David, the name of his podcast, we don't know yet, but he says it's product management related. That might be a good title. PMR. No? Oh, look, Bruce coming in from Queens. He says, what's up, brothers and sisters? Ancient Greeks here with us. Speaking of podcasts, didn't we have like some amazing tribe members like hit a top 10 list this week?
Oh my gosh, yes. So it was like in the last day or two. So Christy and Angela's, who both are tribe members with Women Talk Construction, and Davis and Walker with Laying Foundations, both got in the top 10. Let me think. Top 10 construction podcast of 2022. How about that?
Gangsta.
I know. Yep. That was like super cool news.
Yeah. So everybody out there in the Omniverse, you get a pass, you get a hall pass for this morning. Go to their podcast and like hit the star, give them stars and but like listen to an episode at least half of one. Give them some stars and leave them a comment because that's really going to help boost them. And like because we need to support each other. And there's also this guy, right? Right, some troublemaker back there who's also the host of a podcast, Boots on the Ground. I may have listened to an episode or two, right? The Link Builder.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there was one in the last two between last time we got together and this one that highlighted Buddy, who is one of our tribe members. And so you got to go and listen to the Lean Builder podcast and find Buddy's episode because he gives so many golden nuggets in that one. I mean, like drops them and like you just can't get enough. You want more of it. So
yeah, Buddy Brubley representing.
Yes.
Giselle Rosa, good morning. Hello. Just you know what? She's been posting like awesome stuff about her runs. And I like it, but I also don't like it. Because then I'm like, son of a gun, now I gotta go get my damn miles in. So thank you for the motivation, Miss Giselle. I love it. Jamie says no BS should have made the top 10 list.
Yeah, but it's like one of those kind of super secret clubs that not everybody knows about yet. Yes. So it's like we'll just do it slowly.
Yes, but we are top 10 in your heart.
Yes.
That's what matters, right?
Of course.
So you keep threatening me that I'm gonna be like on the ropes today.
You are gonna be on the ropes today.
So today's conversation, we're going to be talking about, it's a reflection conversation. Mm-hmm. And you and I, last time, you know what? I haven't even set up the clubhouse room. After the after party, after our last episode, it was a super intimate, vulnerable conversation that we had with the group. And then, of course, you and I get to like geek out, like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is beautiful. And then it's like, man, you need to like, it's been like 6 months since we officially launched the No BS movement. And you and I were talking about like, okay, this is, our goal. The goal has always been and will be to help one person. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. That's the whole purpose. If these conversations and these ideas that we explore help one person, that's what winning looks like. And that kind of sunk in like, okay, we're actually accomplishing that. Right? We could feel that. And the tribe is sharing that with us and letting us know how impactful this community has become. And afterwards, I was, there's this book out there that we're working on. And so I was looking at doing some research to make sure we got like all the grammar and stuff perfect and correct in there. And I was able to see the difference between you and I and the way we showed up, like our speech pattern, our flow, our connectivity, the depth in conversation that we were having, like from the very beginning to now, is a drastic change, like in a positive direction. And then I'm thinking like, wow, this is like, we've grown, right? We've improved. But it wasn't just that. Like my goal was just to help one other person. But I have received help as a result of being involved with this. And that wasn't the goal. That was just like a beautiful outcome. And I shared that with you and you kind of felt the same. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And so then it's like, well, maybe we should do a reflection conversation, one, so that we demonstrate the behaviors that we're seeking, because we talk about reflecting all the time, but we haven't like reflected as a group, as a unit, A, and B, like we haven't really talked much about how this whole movement and experience has empowered us, as Miss Dana Pearson says. Yes, this tribe empowers. And you were like, oh, Jesse, that's a beautiful idea. Like, let's have the conversation, and please don't be mad at me because I want to share all my reflections. So you're just going to have to sit back and listen.
Okay,
Remember
first of
that?
all, it doesn't say deflections, it says reflections. So let's be super clear that that is the topic today, and you're not going to get off on that. So you're not going to get the passes and all that stuff. No, you're not going to do that.
No passes, son of a gun. But Steve Martin said it counts.
Okay, just because he says it one time doesn't mean you get to apply it to everything.
It counts. It counts. It all counts. Oh my goodness. Bring on the reflecticons. So again, in preparation for this conversation about reflection,
Jesse.
I was looking at this book, and there's like these cool little doodles with like mirror images in it, quotes from No BS tribe members, right? Like, I hired us a super expensive and artistic doodler. But just so everybody knows what we're talking about, right? We're talking about reflection today. Looking inward. We have a question. We have a question about the book. Where can
Jesse, it's not even final. It's not even the final version yet. We're still editing it.
I think I'm having Wi-Fi issues over here.
You are not. Oh, so we're gonna have people out there that are gonna have one version. They're gonna have people out there that are gonna have another version.
Philip. What's this? Oh, Philip says Jesse reached out when I needed it. Man, Philip. Thank you, brother. Bracket Ridge alumni, Eagles in the house. But yes, man, like, I had no idea. And I guess that's a big point here, right? Is we never really know when we're going to impact somebody, when we're going to contribute to their peace, and give them some comfort or reprieve. So, for me, one big takeaway is like, this helps me behave. Like I mentioned to you this morning, I got in super late last night, like way past my bedtime, because I went dancing last night. But it was on my mind, like, all right, Jess, you got to get home because you got to sleep and make up and get everything ready for the live stream. And normally it would have I'm just going to have a good time because like, I don't give it a second thought. I'll just stay out all night and then go stuff my face with tacos at 3:00 in the morning or whatever. But because of the tribe, it's like I got some purpose now. And I've got to show up. I got to show up correct because, one, the tribe, right, can't counting on us. And I get so much from them. And two, because if not, the principal, the English teacher might battle me for showing up the wrong way.
So between Wi-Fi and salsa, I just got to make sure that, we're in check.
Mike Kyman, what's going on, big dog? He says, there's a book coming out? Wow, that's the first I've heard of it. There is a book not coming out. Steve Martin, thank you for the advice on dropping the teas out here, the No BS marketing teas. Like, we had this all planned. Steve Martin said it counts. David says, where's the pre-sale link? I was first edition. So part of the truth is the book is available on Amazon right now. Jennifer just can't wait for people to go buy it. Now, the truth is the book, there's still a lot. There's like a whole bunch of typos and there's little different elements, enhancements that Jennifer,
like 25 new doodles that are getting put into it.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of doodles that Jennifer's, adding value to the book. So if you want the limited edition, No BS. Well, what's the title? Lean in Love. This is a shout out to Steve Martin, right? Lean in Love, 5S Love Letters, a no BS look into how your relationships create ripples of impact.
And Yesenia, because she love letters. It was hers.
Yeah, yes. So the tribe contributed to the title of the book, and many of the tribe members are quoted throughout the book. So yeah, Mike, we have a book.
Oh my God. This is not the final version. I want to be on record to say this is not the final version. Oh my God.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad.
Outnumbered. I'm so outnumbered right now.
Yes. Well, look, see, Buddy got his. Does that mean the porch? Oh, yeah, there it is. He got his last night. There it is, Jen. The secret's out. Oh, man, I'm loving the support over here. Oh, this is so awesome. I'm going to be in so much trouble. Miss Jen and Miss Kim are going to get on me. John, another Breckenridge Eagle, baby. Oh! Yeah, he knows the dancing stories, and that's at least a 2-hour reflection. All right, Jen, did I do good on the book promotion that you
okay, so now that's okay. We're gonna shift because now we're going right back to you. So now we get to dig in and you get to get vulnerable and you get to because this is I'm gonna drive now since you got to drive the first 16 minutes. And so we're gonna shift a little bit on reflection. Let's be super clear, not deflection. So this past week, you put a pretty vulnerable post out on LinkedIn. I mean, like, I would say one of the most vulnerable ones that I've seen you post. Like you kind of put nuggets out there and you talk about little kind of snippets here and there of things that have happened. And even on this show, we've talked about some of those things over the course of the last 6 months. And even when we were doing the lean and love stuff. But I want you to talk through what got you to post that this week, and not only just post about that story, but like the depth of it and why all of a sudden did you post something to that degree and feel like it was okay and that you weren't going to get attacked to people, piling on and, you kind of did it probably with a little bit of fear, but maybe not. So can you dig into that for us a little bit?
Yeah, I did it for the likes. I just wanted to see people push the button that they like the story. No, okay. I'm joking. So the post it's on my profile on LinkedIn, and it was a pre-celebration to me having earned or lived 6 years of sobriety. So yesterday was 6 years since the last time I had a drink or consumed anything else. Like, been a good boy. And Thursday is when I made the post, because Thursday is the day before, right? Thursday was the night that I got arrested again, right? Like, I have a criminal record. Surprise, surprise. And everything on my criminal record is alcohol related. 100%. No doubt alcohol was involved. And I'm not sure exactly why. Like, I knew the day, like the 6-year day was coming, and that's a big day. And normally, I guess, again, so back to like the tribe and this experience that we're all having together, I don't celebrate a whole lot. Like, my birthday's a secret. Things happen, they're done, and I just kind of move on. And 6 years of sobriety, and I don't celebrate that often. And of course, with you, with Adam, Princess Kim, the rest of the tribe, I'm learning to celebrate. But the idea hit me in the head Thursday of like, where was I 6 years ago? And 6 years ago, I was in the back of another police car at the parking lot of Jack in the Box on Proban and 90 here in my hood, going to jail, being arrested again for DWI. And this was not my first one. And so I was seriously looking at prison time. And the contrast between where I was 6 years ago and where I am, or where I was that Thursday, and where I am today and where I am now, is so dramatically different. I mean, 6 years ago, I'm sitting in the car, embarrassed, ashamed, frustrated. But my brain, the way I normally handle things is like, okay, this is not the greatest situation, but what am I going to do now? Right? Like I earned my way there into the back of that car, and we were driving to county jail, and I'm just like, okay, so I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna go to prison. So what career would I do when I get out of prison? And what will I do while I'm in prison? Like I wish I could find it. I have a list that I wrote kind of afterwards of all the things that I was going to learn while I was locked up. One of them was learn how to write left-handed, right? Another one of the items was read all the different religious texts to get like a broader understanding or broader view of that sort of thing. That's where my brain was at that time. This Thursday, my brain was thinking about my business and the No BS tribe and the community and you and Adam and my family. Like nowhere in my mind was the fear or angst of violating probation or getting pulled over because I don't have my registration sticker update and getting taken in again. Like those were real things that I had to calculate because of the behavior that got me into that situation. Now, that's the day of the arrest. But before the arrest, there was all this other stuff of me being completely, even though I'm still pretty protected and guarded with my sweet little heart, I've made tremendous progress in terms of opening up and letting people, sharing more of myself with people. And that day, that Thursday morning, I'm not even sure what triggered us. Like, it was just that, like, wow, what was I doing 6 years ago? Like right now we had a call and we were editing. Did I mention that we've got a book coming up? So we were editing the book, right? We were working on the doodles and which ones and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Like 6 years ago, I wasn't doing that. And now I'm doing that. And yeah, I got to hang out with some amazing friends last night because we lost a dear friend of ours. We got this really tight knit group of friends that we all connected in 6th grade, and one of our friends is gone. And so we all got together. And one of my dearest friends, Maria, I met her in 4th grade. And I was kind of showing off the book. I said, hey, I got to let you know I got a book because Jennifer Lacey told me I have to tell everybody the book's out right now. And it was funny because she's like, Jess, you've been a wild person in my life this whole time. There's one thing I never expected that you would do. And writing a book is that thing. Anything else, totally, because you're crazy. But writing a book, never. And so, again, that's another data point indicating the change, right? The growth. And so that's where it came from now. And like about being concerned of what people are going to say or how people are going to respond, that's really not a concern. It's more of a strategy. Because back in those days, the pre-sober days, and even maybe a couple of years in my early sobriety, I was worried about what people were going to say. I was concerned about what people were going to think. But many people, Mike Kyman, one of them, along the way, gave me a chance. Like they were able to see past that and invest in me. And I say take a chance. They may not see it like they took a chance on me. I felt like they were taking a chance on me. And so I'm eternally appreciative for that. But I finally, like, there was this period of time early in my sobriety where I was coming from this gap mentality of redemption. Like I needed to earn favor and all this sort of thing. And then it switched. I mentioned in that post, I mentioned Manny, who was one of the counselors in rehab. So I was in like inpatient rehab, which was the most amazing, expansive experience I've ever had. And it was not the first time I was in rehab. Like, there were other times I did, like, because I had to, right? But this time it was different. And I was also there just because I had to be there. Like, I was doing it so I could say, look, I'm good. I'm fixed now. Like, don't, I'm too pretty to be in prison. Like, come on. But I had a counselor, and Manny, he called me out because I was going through the motions. My plan was to go there. I know the language. I know the behavioral techniques that we're going to practice, and I know what to say. I know how to behave so I can get the damn thing done and get out. And he pulled me to the side one day and he's like, Jess, your problem isn't admitting that you're an alcoholic. Your problem is accepting. And I'm like, dude, like, why are you playing with words? You sound like an English teacher. What's the difference? and he's like, no, Jesse, you haven't accepted that you will not become the promise you are intended to be if you continue to live life this way. He didn't say if you continue to drink. He didn't say if you continue to use. He said if you continue to live life this way. And then that whole, the promise you're intended to be, like, even now I'm getting teary-eyed, and it was when he said that, I didn't really, like, I kind of like, what the hell are you talking about? And then knew exactly what he was talking about. It was like in that moment, I was able to see the promise that my mom saw in me, and the promise that all my friends and family see in me, and the promise that I would deny that I thought was just imaginary. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, I know what you're talking about. And so I had to change. Like, I had to change my life. I had to change the way I lived. And the way that manifested itself while I was there in rehab was for some, like, just a super blessing, right? Like, all of a sudden, all the here's a technical term, all the pendejadas, like all the dumb shit that I had done, was experience that I could use and share to help the other men that were in this thing, because they were like super young dudes, fit, good looking, like very much like me. Wink, wink. But it was their first time. They'd never dealt with the thing. And like, I could see, I'm listening, I'm like, dude, like, I know where you're at, man. So that was kind of the turning, one of many turning points in my life, but that one helped me go in this other direction. But because of my arrest and all the things that I've done, I felt like I owed, like I was less than, and I had to earn my way back into whatever, right? Redemption. Then it switched to contribution. Like, okay, I'm a precious, amazing human being that has a lot of gifts. So I don't need permission to share my gifts and talents, because I got game. And if I play small, I'm not going to help people the way I could help. I'm not going to be the promise I am intended to be. So right around that point, it kind of shifted slowly, little by little by little. And now it's like almost all out. From telling my truth, sharing my story, sharing my ideas, like full volume, there's nothing to fear. Because you know what? It doesn't matter what degree of how much I put out there. Some people are going to like it, and some people ain't gonna like it. Bottom line. And so making that post on Thursday about me having potentially gone to prison and being in trouble with the law and wrestling with addiction and like all of this stuff, what that does is it helps filter out the people that I don't need to be wasting time with. Like, straight up. I mean, it feels a little arrogant when I say it, that, like, when I think of it in those terms, but for real, like, the amount of energy it takes, and Christy Powell and I had this conversation. She like dropped that knowledge on me. The amount of energy it takes for me to augment my behavior to help everybody like me is totally wasted time, because no matter what, somebody's going to get their feathers ruffled, right? Because my comma's in the wrong place or whatever. Wink, wink. So if I just stop spending that energy to confine what is within me, all of a sudden I can serve at a different level. All of a sudden I can touch many, many more people because I'm not spending on any energy on holding it back. And so posting something like that, there's nothing fake about it. It's the real thing. And it's an invitation to dive in deeper or to say, this ain't the guy I want to play with. And that's okay. Like, you don't have to play with me if you don't want to.
Oh, Jesse. So you said a lot of things. Now you're not done because I got some second and third questions.
Look, we got a comment.
Of course, we have a comment. So, of course, thank you. Pull it back up. That's okay. Pull it back up. Yes, your story is such an inspiration, Jesse. Definitely celebrate this win. I think celebrate's the key word there. You were tried in the fire and came out a gem. Whoa. Then, of course, there goes Steve Martin, tried in the fire. Good job. We love it. Yes. I love that. Thank you, Giselle. Thank you. Again, I agree, yes, and one, thank you for that story, because I know we talk a lot, but to be able to put that out there and talk about it. You mentioned a couple things that I want to dig into. Is you just said that story, the promise we're intended to be, and you're talking about yourself. But I also know that we work in an industry, and one of your passions, one of the things that the reason that you feel that you exist and your purpose is to help those in our space that kind of have been overlooked and have been discounted and have not been given the credit or have not been given the recognition that they deserve. And with our trade partners and things like that in our industry. And so based on your experience and kind of what you maybe were discounted or the way you showed up and how you at first were trying to prove something or trying to validate something, and then now you've made this shift over the course of the last 6 years, but also the tribe and the people that are surrounded around you. How are you using that on this platform that you have created to be able to help better our industry and the things that you're doing with your business and with the things that you're doing and how you're showing up?
Yeah. No. Okay. So I don't know if you can tell, but like, I don't have a problem with being center stage. And I'm also like pretty good at talking. Like, that's always, I mean, I was like an expert talker back in first grade. And so my skills have just been getting better since then. And so like reflection, right? Before the 6 years ago, I used all of those skills because they're really skills, right? Like, they're gifts and talents that I had, but I used them to self-serve like my own needs. Like, I was a black hole of need, and I was going to use every magic trick I had to get what I wanted. And once I got what I wanted from you, I was done with you. That's all it was. But along the way, there were things when I started as an apprentice, I worked with a lot of foremen, and like in my first 4 years of apprenticeship, there's two foremen one was a foreman, the other guy was like retired, so only worked Papa Juan. That I remember, and it's kind of like teachers, right? You have a lot of teachers, but I can only remember 4 or 5 because they were amazing, and the rest of them, whatever, they're done. So what I do remember then was the way they treated us. Like, they hoarded information and like the ones that I remember, Johnny Martinez being one of them, really invested in me and taught me how to read blueprints and would give me more challenging stuff. And I was like, man, that's kind of how I want to be. Like, I don't want to be a foreman, but if I was a foreman, I know how I'm not going to be. became foreman, became superintendent, and all those positions were opportunities for me to change the environment, to do it differently, right? To treat the people a little bit better. Now, I also got to admit, because there's a lot of people out there that will tell you that that did not come across. That's not what they experienced. In my head, that's what I was doing. But what they were experiencing, I was still pretty rough about things. And then COVID hit. I got travel banned, had to stay home, and one of the outlets I had was gone. And so that outlet was going to high schools, talking to teachers, parents, educators, students about careers in the trade. And any opportunity I could get, I would do that. But with COVID, that all went away. And I was feeling sorry for myself. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. I could still get the message out. Like, I'm not afraid to talk. And I got a lot of friends that are in the trades. So there were two big things. One was the education system is facilitated by teachers who are, some of them are like superheroes. And the only way they were able to get into their career was through and with a college degree. So naturally, that embeds in somebody's mind that having a college degree is the only way to have a career, like subliminally, right? That's in your head. Plus, high schools are incentivized based on the number of kids that they get into university, right? Because that's all they talk about. It's how many of our kids. They don't talk about how many of them got into a career. They talk about them getting into university. So the system's jacked up, and the messaging becomes go to college or be a failure. And the awareness of the amazing opportunities in the industry are totally like they just don't know. Like, it's not because they're being ugly. Some of them are being ugly. I still hear it like, do good in school, or what do you want to do? Be a construction worker? Like, yeah, sure. So, we got a lot of work to do there. Anyways, so that was one thing that needed to be addressed. The other thing was, I also had that mindset about construction. My dad's a plumber. And when I was in high school, I was like, I ain't going to do that. Like, hell no, I ain't going to be sweating. And like, all I saw was like the pain and the burden of the work. I didn't understand the amazing things that would happen, right? And my dad had his own business several times. And so that's a whole other level of mess to deal with, plumbing business. And the people that I was working with, some of them were like, yes, they had their job. Yes, they were a construction worker, but they were doing beautiful, amazing things in their community and for their family and for their coworkers. Nobody sees that, right? They either see like a super hot calendar model like me, or big, heavy, cussing, tobacco chewing person, right? Like, that's all they see. The general idea is that. It's like, okay, how do we enhance that image? So let's start a podcast. And I didn't know how that was going to go, right? Because it was just my idea. I was going to harass my friends and see how it goes. And so that's taken off. And kind of like the recipe that's in my post, when I came to terms with what do I have to do to become the promise I'm intended to be, I had to release control. Right? Because all of my behavior that got me into that situation was because I thought I had control. Thanks, Adam. Like, and by control, I mean, like, I put out all kinds of energy and things to make people behave the way I wanted them to behave, and to make people think I was something that I wanted them to believe I was. And that never happened. So that control was an illusion. And I had to let go of all that energy, release control, and just focus on the next rightest step, not the right step, right? Because trying to find the right step is all this like, oh, what if, like all the things that can go wrong. It's just focus on the next rightest step. And when I do that, the next step reveals itself. The path reveals itself. And so we're going to fast forward and jump from launching the podcast. Then you and I connected even more because we had met at LCI Congress.
Well, we kind of met. I mean,
Huh?
I introduced myself and then you just discounted me, but we'll just go with that.
Jennifer gave me her business card, and like, I'm not okay with killing trees to just give my phone number out. So I left the card on the table.
Because it
And
still was dead, but that's okay.
then Jennifer said, "Oh, I see what you think about it." Whoa. And if like y'all already know, the famous lady, she has a commanding presence already. And then when she chews your butt, like, you can't forget her. So you and I connected. The Felipe had already had his podcast going, has this live stream. We have this pod. And so we all, like, I said, "Hey, Jen, you need to come. Like, you need to be a part of this. There's no women in this group, and we need some of your magic." So boom, she came. I don't know if I said that there's no women, but that's what I was thinking. And then that led to the book, right? Like, "Hey, I got an idea." I called you up one day. We talked for like 3.5 hours, and we started the live stream on the 5S in relationships. And then from 5S in relationships, we got to the book. Anyways, what was happening along that way is my voice was growing. Like my awareness. Joe, what's up, Big Joe? My awareness about the reach that I have, right? The credibility that I have, that I still like, that's like 9 months old. Like, oh my God, I actually have credibility. I thought I had to like earn credibility. But I guess I had already. My awareness about how I could impact people, how I could influence people just kept growing and growing and growing. And more importantly, the avenues for me to serve others in sharing my gifts and talents just continue to expand. And so that's brought us to here. Now we got the No BS tribe. We've got all these amazing people, huge, big ballers like James and Joe and Adam, like so many people that we're getting involved with, so many conversations that we've had. Like we did the mental wellness panel discussion at UT Arlington, right?
Mhm.
First live one that we hosted. And that was, for me, that was a huge experience, not just because we were hosting the live panel, but because the depth and vulnerability that everybody demonstrated. We had people in the audience for the first time come to a realization that they had or hadn't grieved a pretty significant loss.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had another strangers supporting each other and opening up and saying the same thing. And then after that, people taking action because of the conversation that we facilitated, that we shared our gifts and talents in. And so that's one of the things that's like been so beautiful is continue taking the next right step. And Keon, like, I went off script just a little bit on that discussion.
Okay.
Right, just a little, because that was the next right question to ask. And then like we went way off script, but it kind of just like you and I, the path reveals itself. And if I just go with it, like release control of what I want to say and respond to what people are requesting, it's a totally different life. Well, look, was James Gable, one of my favorite quotes of all time: "Control is an illusion. At best, we can influence." Yes. And yeah, there are people.
There's Keon.
Oh. Yeah. Thanks, Keon.
Keon just threw the papers up and he's like, "I guess we're not following the plan."
A huge, amazing experience. All right. So these things like the tribe, we got everybody in here commenting and connecting and supporting one another. And then we have the after party where people are like really sharing and really connecting. That wasn't part of the plan. The plan was to help one person. And I can say it's been accomplished because it's helped me, right? It's helped me understand. Rachel, helps me. Like, I know I've tripped up, I said a bad word, so now I'm gonna be like, this can't be shared otherwise through different outlets. But it's helped me be more conscious or selective of when I drop the curse words. It's again, so this thing just keeps helping me. This experience helps me grow, and my thinking helps my thinking evolve, expands all my relationships, expands my appreciation for other people, which wasn't ever hard, but it expands my appreciation for me. And that has been an enormous uptick in comparison to other things.
Awesome. Okay, so I want to say, I want to share some things, and then we'll come back and kind of give you a break to. But you said a couple things that, one, you and I talk a lot, and so there's a lot of things that you said that I want to share with our tribe, just because I know we probably haven't said this a lot, but you talked about that in your role, you realize like you're not for everybody. And I mean, and I think you and I talk a lot about, even in my role and, inside my firm, but also the things you and I are doing in this space, that it's not, and I say this all the time, and hopefully you remember it, but it's not our job to sell or defend.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that to my core, because it goes along with, because we aren't the answer for everything.
Right.
And that's okay, because guess what? My firm is not the person that's going to get selected for everything. And, Keon's firm and Joe's firm. And I mean, all these people that we talk through in this space are not going to be the answer for everything. And we each have the things we bring to the table as a firm and as individuals. And sometimes we're the answer and sometimes we're not. And I think that mind shift is hard for people, because it's like, I should be the answer, because I have this and I have this and I have this. And I think you just got through owning it. That was a huge mind shift for you, realizing it's not about everybody liking me, and it's not about everybody accepting me. It's about being in the space with the people that do.
Yes.
And I think that's a huge, one, reflection, and two, you and I talk a lot about that, and how our goal was to impact one person. And that's, and we've said that. And that is huge, because every time we show up, like, we're just showing up. It's not about the number. It's not about the likes. It's not about the downloads. It's not like, I know you and I, we talk about some of those things, because like, are we making an impact? And I think that's kind of how we start the conversations.
Yeah.
And if not, do we need a shift? And, are we talking about the right things? And and I know later on you're going to do a survey and get more feedback from our tribe, because we show up for them.
Yes.
That's our goal, is that, are we digging into the conversations, the uncomfortable conversations, and getting vulnerable and bringing in and helping, create trust and those kind of things like that. That's our goal. It's not the masses. It's not the numbers. And we know when we started how small it was, and then it's slowly grown, but like, that's the goal. The goal is not, hey, we can't wait to get to this big number. In our minds, every time something happens, Jesse, and this is like the magic, I think, that both of us, every time something happens, we're just like, oh my gosh, did you see that? Oh my gosh, like it surprises us every single time.
Yes.
And I'm going to give a shout out at Congress in Phoenix. And Jesse and I had been doing the live streams for maybe 2.5 months. So again, it was like 4 live streams, maybe 5. And, and it was cool. And we were having fun, digging into the lean in love and the love letters and stuff. And we show up at Congress, and one, it was an amazing experience, just because we got to be around people that we love. And James Peace like tagged us in a post and was like, I'm here with all these influencers. And Jesse and I look at each other and go, like, he tagged us. Like, what the heck just happened? And it was like this moment, I think, where we were still like, we're doing something. And I don't even think at that point we knew, because we didn't have a book planned. We didn't have all these things planned. We didn't have this platform created. And so talking about reflecting and talking about all the things that as we have grown and things that have impacted us together and also outside and the things we do individually. Like, can you talk a little bit about that experience and how that, like, how that's made you feel and like how that's changed maybe and how you've shown up a little bit?
Yeah. So um, it's the recognition that's what's landing in my head. The recognition is amazing, right? It feels really good, but it's also dangerous for me, because this isn't the first time me being a celebrity, Jen, right?
Of course not.
No, I'm joking, y'all. But so that time when we were at Congress, that's what it felt like. Like we were meeting people that have seen us and heard us, but I hadn't met in person. Like I knew their name, I see their stuff, I follow them, but never had a conversation with them. And the first contact was like we've known each other. And it was a little, it was like, whoa, like you know how you forget people's names and they're like, yeah, and it's like, oh damn it, I don't remember your name. It was like that times 1,000 because I do not know your name. And you're talking about stuff that was very recent, and I don't even remember that. And I haven't been drinking. Like, we got a problem here, man. What is up? But on the other side of that, it felt really good to be recognized, right? And like Philip Sellers knows, and there's a lot of other people out there in the Omniverse. I do get recognized. Like being recognized out in public is not an uncommon thing for me. You've dealt with it too. But most of the things that I get recognized for it are like not positive things. Or maybe they were positive. I mean, they were fun for
Or maybe
me.
they're just like not very clothed things.
There you go. They were more revealing things. That's what they were. And so now being recognized for a contribution into the industry, into improving our industry, a contribution into helping people flirt with the idea of becoming more vulnerable or getting closer in touch with themselves. That's a whole different thing. So like that's the really, really meaningful, like, oh my God, how is this happening? On the other end of it, like the dangerous part is I love attention. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but I really, really love attention. And for me, good attention, bad attention, it don't matter because it's attention. If you're talking about me because of something I did good, that's awesome. If you're talking smack about me because you hate my guts, that's awesome. Like, I don't like just talk about me, right?
If you're talking about you because you're half naked floating on a kayak down the river, like,
yeah,
I don't care. I'm fine with that too.
That's right. The Instagram, the grammars out there. I need to get a new video posted coming soon because I'm taking my vacation this week. So heads up. Now, you and I had this conversation. I don't know if I said it, but it's what I was thinking. I'm like, girl, I need you to keep an eye on these because this thing of I'm just gonna call it celebrity. I know that's kind of bigger than what it is, but it would be very easy for me, or rather, my history proves that I will chase that. Like the goal is to help one person. But chasing the feeling of people liking and recognizing me and saying hi and like, oh, like, hey, I saw your thing and it's awesome and you're blowing up, bro. And like, blah, blah, blah. My instinct is to chase that and get more of that. And I think that's what happens with with a lot of folks out there, especially now with social media, is you start chasing the likes, you start chasing the what are the reviews, right? Give me a review, give me da, 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 da. You start chasing that, and if I start chasing that, the value that we provide, the depth of connection that is available dissipates, right? Because there was a time when I would post like really, it was Facebook, but like just inappropriate stuff. It's really funny, but man, I would get some likes. It's like, oh, I like the dopamine hit, right? Oh, that kind of, like, let me do another one of those and another one of those. And then, like, if you look at my history, it's like, what the hell? What was I doing? What was my contribution? Maybe it was entertainment for some people, but on the path that we're on, like I've said many times, there's like 2 steps ahead that I can see. And then I can see way off in the horizon this amazing, miraculous experience for me, for you, for Adam, for the tribe, for so many people that I don't even know yet. But the only way I get there is staying centered on the purpose to share my gifts and talents, to enhance the quality of life for the people around me, and just to help one person. The purpose is not to get likes and to get followers and to get all that garbage, but it takes me a lot of energy to like, oh, like let that go, right? Like chill out, bro, like stay in your lane. And it's the tribe that helps me stay in my lane, right? Because the connection that we have is there's a connection of vulnerability. There's a connection of trust. There's like, even on the Learnings and Missteps podcast, like I'm vulnerable. I share things, but not like I ain't crying with everybody over here like I do here. I mean, but flirting with vulnerability, baby. But it's because of the tribe. So like now I have this connection of people that have shared stuff with me. And because of that, and Philip asked a question earlier, like, how do you create trust?
I will. Yeah, you start, and then I'll add to it. Yes.
And so in my head, the way I create trust is by being vulnerable and receiving other people's vulnerability. And that little cycle of doing that creates trust, right? With people showing up, right? Show up, receive, reflect, reciprocate, trust. Be vulnerable, receive vulnerability, share vulnerability, trust. That's what I've experienced here. Like that's coming from, hey, look at me, right? Doing all the crazy stuff just to get likes, just to get people hit the like button, to now actually contributing and getting likes too. What were you going to say, Jen?
No, I was just I want to add to what you said. So leave that up, Adam, because I want to add when you talked about sometimes you're chasing things and then you got to make sure you're not getting caught up in that. One, I think you and I are really good at putting each other in check and making sure we're like check. And it goes back to that. Who do you have around you? What people are around you that know you, but also can give you a little tough love or can say some things that you trust and that you believe that they're looking out for you. And I think you and I'm going to tell you, I'm proud of you. And I know that you love some of that attention. And I know that it can be easy, but I also know every time we get on a call, Jesse, and every time it's after a podcast or after a live stream or after anything, every single time you're just like, oh my gosh, did you see that? Can you believe that? Like you're still in this mode of like, this is so cool. And that lets me know that you're not chasing all that other stuff. And so it's validating every single time. And you show up that way every time. It's still amazing you. And it's still like, you're still like, how did this happen? Like that's, to me, it validates that you're still showing up, being in that moment, and you're not letting it get you and take you and derail you in a different direction. So great job. And then I want to answer, I don't feel I can create trust. I feel I can help cultivate trust with a group of people because a single person can't create trust because what is trust when it's just me by myself? Is there even a need for trust if it's just me by myself? And so cultivating trust in my mind, it's a different than creating trust. And cultivating trust, it starts with how you show up. And I know we talk about that cycle and all and the receiving and all that. It's how you show up. And you cannot cultivate trust within a group of people, within two people, if you don't show up and you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable. Now, again, you're not just going to show up and be vulnerable and then all of a sudden there's trust. Trust is there. I feel that you cultivate it over time and over reps. You and I talk about that a lot, the reps that you have and how many times, doing things over and over again. And even in our space, it's easy for someone to show up and go, this, we're going to do this, and we're going to care about this, and we're going to create this wonderful loving culture, and we care about you. And I mean, we can have a meeting and we can talk about all these great things. And then you walk out the door and then someone's got a hammer and they're about to hit them with it. Like you can't, it's got to be something that over time, repetition, people see it and then they believe it and they feel it. And then the trust is created from that. You're not just going to create trust based on because you said it. And I think sometimes we get caught up in that and we're creating trust here. Well, I mean, you can say that, but are you cultivating the environment that is going to help foster that? And I just think sometimes words matter. So
yeah, I won't argue that, but I think the point that you made was words matter. True. And they kind of have a different thing with different people, right? So it's not necessarily to say people are wrong, but that is a take on it. But yeah, cultivating 100%. You mentioned reps, having like needing reps, and there's this book that I read recently. That talks about reps, right? Listening, right? Like all of these things, vulnerability, trust, authenticity, psychological safety, like all the buzzwords, mental wellness, self-care. Those are not events. They take reps. They take practice, like support, the examples, the whole thing. It doesn't just happen. Like it really doesn't just happen. It takes a whole bunch of work. And like the beautiful thing is we got a tribe. Like being a part of the No BS tribe, some of us have like really, really great, really well-developed strengths in some areas and underdeveloped strengths in the other, right? And we can flip back and forth. Like you got some strengths that I ain't got. I got some strengths that you ain't got. And so we have a tribe that we can reach out to. We have this community to see the examples, right? To see them demonstrating that behavior so that we can take that and incorporate that. And that's what we need to do. That's not only what we need to do, it's something that I learned as a result of being in this space of, wow, like I need to share more. Period, because it might help somebody. And so that's the same thing for all the other tribe members. We got a bunch of people watching that haven't commented, and like that's okay. Please keep coming back. But know that your voice, your experience, strength, and hope, right? That's like a 12-step thing, is valuable for somebody. Your ordinary is extraordinary for somebody else. But you got to put it out there. And I know it's a little bit scary, right? You're going to get the scaries in your stomach. Like, what are people going to say? Again, back to kind of the point I made earlier. When I am my authentic self, I automatically cut a whole bunch of energy out of my operating system, because the people that do not like or that have like underdeveloped, like their sophistication in taste of people is underdeveloped, they're going to self-select out. They're going to say, I ain't playing with that fool. He's too casual. He's unprofessional. He doesn't have executive presence. He curses. He's got a background. Like if all of those things are on your list of like negative, perfect. Done. Please make that decision. I love you. And when you want to hang out, let's hang out. But know that that list that you got, I got check marks by it. And so I don't have to waste any energy. What I get to do is be as authentic as I know how to be right now. But it takes reps.
That's so important. I think it's so important that you just saying that, like, one, being able to know this is how I show up authentically, and getting to the point to where realize you are not the answer for everybody, and that's okay.
Mhm.
It doesn't make you bad, you good and them bad, or them good and you bad. It doesn't matter. Like none of that matters, other than there are way too many people out in this space and too many people that we interact with to worry about you losing somebody because of something, because of their list, because of their need for control, their need for whatever it is. Like it's okay. And it doesn't make any one person good or bad. It just means your space and the people around you and the people you're choosing to, to interact with are what's going to make you better and what's going to make the people around you better. And that's okay, because guess what? There's other people just like us, Jesse, out there that are making amazing impact. And we
Yes.
may, and that's okay that other people are they gravitate towards them. It's not a win-lose.
No.
It's not. And if we've got to stop looking at it as a win-lose when someone walks away, or so, or we've made somebody upset, or because we were our authentic self. Like
Yes.
if that is causing somebody else to not be okay, there's a reason. And sometimes it's not you. And that what you're doing is also making them think about something that maybe they're struggling with, and you're being real and you're bringing it out, you're bringing it and you're putting it out there, and you're okay with it, and they're not. And that doesn't make it your problem. And I think sometimes we get caught up on wanting to, why, what, and it's okay. Like just allow that to be what it is, because I've realized too, some of those people that self-selected and go out and they've got their own things they've got to figure out. And sometimes they gravitate right back when it's time and when it's ready, because they realize at that point they didn't need something, and now something that we're providing is what they need. And I just want to give a shout out to this tribe, because I can never give enough love to our tribe. But anybody that's listening that has not commented, that first time, last time, it doesn't even matter. If you are in here and you are listening to what we're saying today, and you are watching the comments, there's not a person, not one in this tribe that does not love and contribute and care and show kindness to every other person that is in here. That is just the space we've created. That is the space that our tribe has created. And they will elevate, they will highlight, they will do everything they can to help and to encourage and to, again, to show care, compassion for the people in here. So please know that.
Yes. Okay. So two things. So many comments, and I'm going to, like, Jen, can you hear that bus backing up? Because I'm going to back it up all over you. I did a miserable job of bringing comments up onto the thing. I hogged all of the airspace or the airtime, right? But Jen, don't get it twisted. It ain't like you're off the hook. Like, you perfectly designed your set of questions to not do your reflection. So that may be on the board for next episode, because we got like 8 minutes here. You got me talking about my favorite subject, which happens to be me. And, we're able to fill all this time. I think my buddy said it earlier. I'm like, oh, Jesse can go for like 2 hours. So apology to the tribe out there for not bringing your comments up here and like bringing them into the conversation. I was trying to maintain my composure and just like playing those amazing moves I was demonstrating last night on the dance floor. But in the chat, there's two things. One, you've got the Clubhouse link for the after party. At 9:20, we'll get on there and we'll continue this conversation, or have a totally different conversation, like whatever, just want to chill out and hang out with my people. But two, there's another link that's going to take you to a survey. It's one question. And the question is, what topic do you want us to explore going forward? That's kind of what we did when we started in January. We want to know where should we go? What's that next rightest step? Help give us some guidance, contribute to the direction that we are all going on. If you've hit that link, put in whatever you want to put in. And Jen,
please just don't put in like fishnet, kayaking, no clothes. Like, just please, if that's what you want us digging into, go follow Jesse on Instagram.
Yes.
And y'all can figure that out at another time, please.
Yes, and I also have my fans only page just in case. Um, so yeah, so Jen, like you did a good job of like just me making me
Well,
talk the
I
whole.
had a good teacher. I had a really good teacher, and I've been like watching and learning for like almost 6 months. I'm really good at how do you just keep asking the right questions, and then if you get them talking about the right thing, sometimes it doesn't leave any room for them to ask questions back. So I'm just saying, had a really good teacher.
Thank you, Jen. Well, there are some other things that have come out, right? From Congress, hanging out with Kirby. I say, hey, Kirby, I don't know what it is. Like, it's like, hey, you got time to talk? I want to talk. Okay. We had like a 3.5 hour conversation. We played hooky from all the workshops. And in that conversation, the idea of the support and capability
Yes.
group, right? Like back to the reps that happened to be
Oh
mentioned
my gosh.
in this book, like that whole group is designed, it takes into it's two big things. One is how do you build vulnerability? This was the question I asked. How did I build vulnerability? It's like through practice,
Mhm.
through years and years of going to 12-step meetings and saying, hi, I'm Jesse. I'm a fill in the blank because I went to all of them. And this is my problem. Right. And I would share whatever was bugging me that day. So I had rep after rep after rep of admitting to the world, or at least to the people in the room, that I was struggling. Like just admitting that I was struggling with something was so hard, but I got practice. And so from there, struggling turned into like the really dumb stuff that I did, and the really shameful things that I did, and the really evil things that I did, but more and more vulnerability. The other thing was, how did you learn how to ask questions the way you ask questions? It's like, well, because of this little exercise that I got exposed to. So combine the two. There's a group of us that we meet once a month, and we practice listening. We practice being vulnerable. We practice giving like honest, direct feedback. And guess what happens? We kind of all trust each other now, right? By design. It wasn't an accident. It's by design. So that's the point. What do you think, Jen? 3 minutes.
Yes. Well, one, I'm going to give kudos because that exercise has made me better as a person, but also just how I engage with other people. Because a big part of that exercise, we can dig into that one maybe on an entire show, but it also helps you learn how to ask better questions. And obviously, you can see it's working for me. I was able to continue to get you to talk this entire time. So,
Cheater.
but it also, like, I've seen how it has helped me in my work and in my personal lives, and just how I'm engaging with people and how I'm listening and how I'm really paying attention and being an active listener, and also helping, trying to help the other person. So absolutely, super big kudos for that group and what we've been able to do with that. And I know we didn't talk a lot about me. Now, again, I did a lot of talking the previous two shows, so I'll own that I lifted a lot more in those shows than you did. So we're kind of slowly balancing it out. Oh my gosh. So, but no, one, thank you today. I know it was a lot, and I know you kind of dug deep today, and it, vulnerable and personal and all that. And I know that's what we do here in this space, but I just appreciate you showing up and sharing what you did today.
Thank you, Jen. And thank you to the tribe for making it a safe space for me to do that. And Steve Martin, the chief marketeer, says, Clubhouse shout out, give it at least a try. Highly recommended, where we share and discuss what's coming back to us, a reflection of the ease, to throw caution to the breeze and live. I think he wrote that book. I mean, that song. So time, y'all, love you, Jen.
Thank you.
For taking us there. all
Yes.
the love and support I got on the post, extremely meaningful to me. And my ask is give people space, give people permission to be themselves, even if it's in the worst form of themselves right now. There are people suffering in addiction, in self-loathing, that can take us to a place that we don't need to be. And sometimes just accepting them and letting them be, and sometimes just calling them out and telling them they need to get it straight. Both of those things are a demonstration of love and care. So please do that. And we're going to the after party.